For years, I haven't been able to figure out why more guys don't tell guys how to be fast with the controller. But then I figured it out. There's two reasons why. One, you don't get a deal with a wheel manufacturer if you say controllers are faster, right? And two, they probably don't know how. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel today. Today we're going to talk about the controller, right? And you're going to get the perspective from a controller guy. Now, I set this video up as a wheel versus controller video, but that's really not what this video is about. Is a wheel better than a controller? Is that whole experience better than a controller? More than likely, yes, right? I've had guys over the years tell me that, man, you really need to play on the wheel. The immersion is great. Well, look, guys, I drove a truck for UPS for 20 years. I don't need any immersion. I'm good on immersion. I like my controller. I like coming home, plugging in my headset, and going at it with my controller. If I can't be the world's fastest guy on a controller, so be it. But I am fast. I have held track records and the fastest lap times and top 10 lap times with this device right here. And I did not need a steering wheel. And before we go further in the video, right, the secret to the wheel setup is not even the wheel. The secret to the wheel setup is the load cell pedals and getting a proper pedal setup, right, so that you can modulate your braking and throttle inputs going into and coming out of corners. That's the true secret of the wheel. So I just have never understood why we as sim racers always say that we want sim racing to grow, and we tell people that the most accessible way to play the game is garbage. Just don't understand that, guys. Let's get into the video. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today you see we're back on the game, so I'm gonna do this real quick. As I said, this is my first time doing this from Twitch, guys. I'm doing this on Twitch. This is my first time broadcasting for Twitch. So let's go on the single player here. And let's go to, so we're gonna talk about controller settings here, right, guys? So let's just go start the session. Go into the section. Should be a pretty quick load time here. And you'll see here at the top of the screen where it says drive, setup, options, quit. Let's go on options. And then let's go to controls, right? And so here you see your controller settings, right? So if you want to be good on a controller on a simulation racing game, first things first, you got to spend some time with this, right? I'm not going to actually tell you what each thing does, because I haven't looked at it in a long time, and I myself have to, when I'm doing my controller settings, I have to go and look at a guide to see what everything does, how to play with it. But if you spend a couple hours, an hour or two, maybe 3 or 5 hours playing around with this until you get something good, you can generally come up with a pretty good steering system for your car, and a controller system for your car. And so the big thing here is we used to have, so let's go down here to the bottom, and it should have been it's fire, but I don't know why I saved it that way. But I'm gonna go and I'm gonna load this setting, and we're here on ACC for you guys who don't know. And I got my settings here. So this is my setting on controller for ACC. You see here Down here at the bottom, I got the Coach Dave set up here too. I really like the Coach Dave setup, but my setup worked for me. It's been working for me so far. Am I the world's fastest guy? No. I just started playing ACC, but I'm decent. So, and I'm gonna show you some laps here in a minute. But as you can see here, if you spend a little bit of time with your controller setting to it, you can come up with something pretty good for yourself to drive the car. There are some positives to driving with a controller, there's some negatives to driving with a controller, but you can get out there and compete on controller. And the crazy thing is if you get a wheel, it's gonna take you the same amount of time to get your force feedback dialed in, and you're still gonna have to spend the same amount of time learning how to drive the car fast, dealing with setups, to dial the car in even more. And that's really what a setup is. It's really just an extension of what you do right here with your controller settings, right? It's just all about getting the car to feel good to you, and it takes time on a sim. So before I go run laps, I'm gonna tell you something we used to talk about on the Project Cars forum. Something I used to see. They used to have a conversation on the forums. They called it the 20-hour rule. They talked about something called the 20-hour rule with a sim. So if you're new to a sim, the 20-hour rule was basically with Project Cars, guys who made it past the first 20 hours, fiddling around, the first 20 hours of frustration, they generally came to love the game and enjoy the game. Guys who didn't make it past that first 20 hours generally hated the game and called the game garbage. All right. So I got my setup in here. Let's go out. Let me show you a couple laps. I'm not gonna do a tutorial on this. There's plenty of tutorials out there, guys. That's not why I'm here. I'm just here to talk about the controller versus the wheel and talk about it as an accessible means of sim racing, and you can do really well with a controller. Can you do esports? Maybe not, you know. But there are some guys who hold track records and are very, very competitive with a controller. You just can't go to an esports event and race with a controller. You know, that's just not how it works. So let's go out and let's run some laps. Let me show you some laps. I've been working, last night I was working at Kaya Lundy, so I'm going to show you Kaya Lundy. Let's head out here. I got some pole tires here, let's get out.
Low tire pressure, stay clear of the curbs.
Alright, as you can see here, I'm pretty smooth. So, the secret to driving your cars fast, guys, I'm not good at driving the car. Two major secrets to driving the car fast. One, being smooth, and two, I'll tell you two in a minute. I'm still trying to think of this guy. But you gotta be smooth, right? And that's the first key to being fast on any device, controller or wheel, right? Smooth with your throttle input, smooth with your braking inputs, right? I missed that turn bad. And I know I want to really think of the second thing. Oh, seat time. That's the only. Those are the only two things that are gonna make it fast. Learning to drive the car smoothly. I missed that turn bad. And I'm not a guy that can drive and talk, so I'm doing this for tutorial purposes. let's see what kind of lap we can run on the controller. And you see, I'm kind of jittery, but then I can be real smooth, like right here. Right, pretty smooth here. Move off this turn. Oh, I didn't load my setup. That's one of the problems. I think of 142. I've been hearing after the update, 142 is pretty fast around here now. I'm in the 144 range. I don't think I have my setup in there, so I'm probably not gonna be in the 144 range. Turn. Yeah, hit it good time. Got him up pretty good that time. And this shift. Car knocks around like that crazy. We can get in tight off that turn. That cost me a lot of time. Get in tight on that turn. Lost my concentration right there. So that's not because of the controller, guys. I just lost concentration. Right there. Lost me a bunch of time, and I was on the line a 149 because of it. And you can see me. You can see me get down 145, 144 with my setup in. You hear my tires are starting to. Rears don't have enough heat, fronts don't starting to overheat. But that's it, guys. Appreciate you watching the video. Play around here a little bit with the controller. Oh, that's my. Hold on. Yeah, let me put my setup in just so I can play around a little bit. Get the setup loaded here. And I'm gonna play around just a little bit so you can see that the car is very drivable and maneuverable with a setup, a good setup, and on the controller. Throttle here, guys. Look it. There we go. Then we just got the update too, so the physics are a whole lot better. But you can really drive the car with a controller, guys, and I just really want you guys to see that. Let's have some fun now, guys. On the track, off the track. That's it. Appreciate you guys watching the video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.